Oops, I didn't mean to play that. Well, hello everyone, and welcome. That was funny, I clicked the wrong thing. Oops. Welcome to the Nintendo recap / reactions video stream, whatever you want to call it. Unlike Microsoft and Sony, who both had their chance yesterday to kind of show their hand and stake their claim and show what's coming up in the next generation of consoles, Nintendo opted out of having a direct press conference this year. Now, if you missed the Microsoft and Sony press conferences yesterday, they went a little bit something like this. Pretty good, right? So, after seeing all the chaos of yesterday and what happened with those press conferences, you ask yourself, well, what can Nintendo put on the table? Now, everyone's been saying Nintendo had a really bad start out of the gate with the Wii U. The sales have been piss poor. Most third-party publishers are basically not publishing their games for the Wii U. EA has completely said they're out. They're done. They are not publishing games for the Wii U in the future. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen to this console. So, of course, when it came to Nintendo's announcement today, you knew that 99, if not 100% of the games that they talked about were going to be either first-party titles or console exclusives that were probably already announced. And incidentally, that's 100% correct. Pretty much everything that you expected is exactly what this press conference was about, okay? So, rather than go into the detail of, oh, the presenter came out and said this, because I'll be honest, the presenter of Nintendo Direct can barely speak English. It's really annoying. You would think you should have a fucking spokesperson who can actually speak the language so that we can actually understand him. But I digress. We're just going to talk about the content of the video, which was the games. We're going to talk about all the games that were finally announced as this next generation of Wii U titles, because let's be honest here. Since last year, what the hell has come out for the Wii U besides very, very sparse releases? Like, okay, there was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. There was Lego City Undercover. But listen to the games I'm saying. These aren't system sellers. These are like, okay, that's a good game that I may play on the side. That's not something I'm going to dedicate a massive amount of time or go buy a Wii U to play. So, now let's talk about, hopefully, what some people will consider to be system sellers. And this is what they talked about on Nintendo Direct this morning. So, first of all, the first game they talked about was Super Mario 3D World. Actually, I don't know if this is an order or not. I just wrote down the games because I looked them up. Super Mario 3D World. Now, again, another Mario game. Well, wait, what's this one? Is this a side-scroller? Is this the 3D one? Is Paper Mario? There's so many Mario licenses at this point, it's hard to keep track. This one, it's 3D, so I guess what they're going with is, when it says 3D, it's going to play like a certain game, and in this case, it actually plays like the Super Mario 3D Land, which was on the Nintendo 3DS a couple years back. And it looks extremely similar to that game with the gameplay style. However, keep in mind that the Wii U doesn't have 3D capabilities. You can't see this game in 3D. So it's kind of weird that they're calling it 3D, but it's not. I don't know why they're doing that, but maybe it's because to try to draw a direct association to the previous Mario games so people know exactly what it is that they're playing, okay? So, they show it. There's a unique thing that they've added in this one. It's a new suit. It looks like it's a cat suit, and that you'll be able to like use your cat claws to grapple and climb up walls. They also show that it is 4-player co-op, meaning you can play as Mario, Luigi, Princess Toadstool, or Toad, and that each character is going to have some kind of a unique power. Like, for example, Princess Peach can hover with her dress, similar to how she did in Super Mario Bros. 2. So, there is some uniqueness there, but for the most part, it really does look a lot like Super Mario 3D Land. In fact, lots of the same elements are used. The same kind of platforms where when you jump up, they switch over to a different platform. You have to try to land on that one. And the 3D aspect of going up or down areas, climbing these giant pillars or going down, it looks extremely similar in that regard. However, I actually think this is a good thing, and the reason I say that is because Super Mario 3D Land was one of the best games I think I've ever played on a handheld system. The game had 8 worlds, but once you beat them, the game opened up 8 more super hard challenge level worlds that were basically more difficult or remixed versions of the previous worlds. There was an immense amount of collectibles and secrets in the game, and once you beat all that, then a super secret, ultra difficult level opened up at the end of the game. And I was like, this is an immense amount of content for a platformer, especially when you look at the new Super Mario Brothers 1 and 2, really didn't have a lot of content. They were kind of short games. This game was like a lot of work was done on it, and there was an outstanding amount of content. So for me, seeing that that's probably going to be the same thing here, because I'm assuming the same dev team probably worked on both, I'm actually pretty pumped for this game. And it looks really good. So they actually announced that that's going to be released in December of this year for the Wii U. Okay. The next game that I'm going to talk about, Mario Kart 8. They show it. It's Mario Kart with HD graphics. Woohoo. The only thing that I could even tell from the trailer that they showed that's of note as a change is that, well, number one, the different vehicles are back, meaning you can mix and match. You don't have to be stuck with a certain cart or whatever. You can actually ride different vehicles during the course of the game. So that returns from the last couple Mario Kart games. And number two, there's this new sideways driving vertical kind of element to the game where you're not always driving on a flat surface anymore. Now you're riding up the sides of walls and kind of riding almost upside down in some parts. So there must be some kind of an anti-gravity feature to the carts where they can cling to the track and you end up doing loop-de-loops and crazy stuff with them. And it seems kind of interesting, but at the same time, isn't that just kind of a gimmick? Like, you're not really adding anything to the game. You're just adding an upside-down camera element, really, to the game when you think about it. Outside of that, I didn't see anything really new to the game. It's Mario Kart 8. It's the next Mario Kart. Whoopity-doo. They said it's coming out in spring of 2014. Okay, the next game I want to talk about is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker's HD remake, which is coming out for the Wii U. Didn't really see anything in particular that like bowled me over about this game, besides the fact that it's Zelda and it's in HD. It'll be the first official HD Zelda game, even though technically it's an old game. Visually, the game looked very appealing in 1080p resolution, but it's the same game. It's just a re-release. For me, this is actually kind of neat because I never played Wind Waker. So if I do play the game, this will be the first time I play it. And we'll see what happens with that. I know a lot of people right now are probably saying, Phil, are you going to play Nintendo games? Because they made that big announcement that on YouTube they're going to try to claim all of your ad revenue. So far, I've only been affected on one video out of all the Nintendo content I've ever put out. Then again, that doesn't mean that YouTube's not just didn't get around to it yet, and one day they're going to flip a switch, and I'm going to be boned because they're going to take away all the ad content for Nintendo games. So, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have to make an intelligent decision coming soon to see if I'm going to be playing these Nintendo games or not, just so everybody knows. But anyway, yeah, Wind Waker. Really didn't see anything new about the game. It's Wind Waker in HD. That's coming out in October. It doesn't have the solid release date yet, but at least we know the window for the month that it's going to be coming out, okay? Alright, up next, DK Tropical Freeze. Now, a lot of people are disappointed about this, okay? And the reason is, I don't know how this was announced or whatever, but I guess there were rumors that there was going to be some cool unannounced retro project that Nintendo was working on, and they were going to announce it at E3 during their Nintendo Direct conference. And I think a lot of people were hyped up, oh, what's it going to be? Is it going to be Earthbound? Is it going to be Chrono Trigger? Is it going to be, there's so many things that were Nintendo franchises that, well, then again, Chrono Trigger really isn't, but there are so many things that Nintendo could bring back as like a retro project that would be really neat. Well, to many people's dismay, it ended up actually being Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which is just basically a sequel to Donkey Kong Country Returns in HD. Co-op returns in this game as well. You could be Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, or Daisy Kong, and then you can play as any combination of the three in a two-player co-op, and the two of you can link together to have special abilities. So, for example, Dixie Kong can grab onto Donkey Kong and use her ponytail as a helicopter to hover and get further for jumps and such, okay? But looking at the trailer, yet again, I'm going to say it. I don't see anything unique about this game, besides the fact that it's the first Donkey Kong game to be in HD. It looks exactly the same as Donkey Kong Country Returns. Of course, I don't mean that's the same levels. I mean, it's the same gameplay, the same platforming elements, the same. I'm sure they added in one or two new things. Like, I actually saw in one scene that Donkey Kong was climbing upside down, like on the bottom of a ledge. There was like a ledge, and he was crawling on it like this. And I was like, okay, maybe there's a new element where you can grab walls, similar to how you would do in like Little Big Planet or something. I don't know. But for the most part, it looks like standard Donkey Kong fare. There's no kind of crazy gimmick, but there's also no real change to it. It's just a sequel to Donkey Kong Country Returns. And that is supposed to be coming out in 2014. There's no date for that yet, okay? Okay, the next one was a big announcement, okay? Because, first of all, confirmed the game was coming out, but then it also announced 3 of the new characters, one of which I think a lot of people are getting really excited for. We're talking about Super Smash Brothers. Now, I'm not sure what to call this. Is it Super Smash Brothers 4? A lot of people are calling it that, but the logo is very odd. It's like Super Smash Brothers, and they show a ball, and I can't tell, is that a 4 on the ball? What is that? It doesn't just like have all text that says Super Smash Brothers 4. It's very confusing. So they announce it, okay, big deal, and they announce that there's 2 versions of it. One's actually coming out for the Nintendo 3DS, and the other's coming out for the Wii U. So you can play it on either one. No mention whatsoever if there's going to be cross-play. I don't think there will be, but who knows? I'm not going to rule it out. I mean, Nintendo may choose to do that. But the 3 new characters that have been announced so far, first of all, the Wii Fit Trainer. So if you owned a Wii Fit and you did that weird yoga shit, the trainer, the woman who actually posed in that, she's in the game. Okay? She's a character. The second character is the Villager. Now, I was not familiar whatsoever where this guy's from. I don't know if he's from Animal Crossing or if he's from another game. I couldn't tell from, from what I saw who the fuck this guy was. Villager, some generic guy. Are people saying Animal Crossing in the chat? Okay, so he's from Animal Crossing. I never played Animal Crossing, so that's probably why I didn't recognize who the hell he was. So he's the new character. And the third new character, which was the huge announcement, I'll let it speak for itself. Here we go. That's right. Mega Man is in the next Smash Brothers, which is pretty crazy. They actually show that he can actually play very similarly to his Capcom counterpart. His jump looks like the same animation as the regular, the Mega Man classic jump. And also, when he shoots his Mega Buster, he puts his arm out like this and the pellets bow, pew, pew, pew. He has the slide kick. They show that. And then they show him, it's funny because they show him losing a fight. And then all of a sudden he gets pissed. So he takes out his Mega Buster and he starts dialing it in. And he gets all the boss powers from like different Mega Man. So he has like Crash Man and Metal Man and Leaf Man and all those people. He has all their powers all of a sudden. So he going to have all these different powers that he can utilize when he's in Smash Brothers during a fight, which is really neat. And I think that's a really cool thing that they put him in the game, looking pretty good. Now, outside of that, there's nothing else new. Like, they didn't show, oh, here's a new game mechanic. Oh, here's, the modes that are going to be in the game. None of that. I think all they wanted to do is just say, it's coming, and here's some of the new characters, just to get some interest and some hype stirring around, okay? And it was announced that game, of course, yes, is coming in 2014. Alright, so now enough for the first-party titles. Now we're going to start talking about the third-party titles that are being developed that are console exclusives. The first one is Bayonetta 2, which a lot of people are aware that this game is now a console exclusive. A lot of people are upset about this because they liked Bayonetta 1, but Bayonetta 1 wasn't on the Wii U, obviously, because the Wii U didn't exist. It was actually on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, and a lot of fans of Bayonetta 1 said they didn't want to buy the Wii U just to play this game, and therefore they're upset that they're not going to be participating in Bayonetta 2. Now, why is Bayonetta 2 only on the Xbox, only on the Wii U? It's simple, because no one wanted to publish the damn game, and Nintendo stepped up to the plate and said, alright, we really like what you did with the first one, let's do it, we'll publish the game for you, but it has to be a console exclusive for the Wii U. So, the real thing to know about the game is that Bayonetta has a different look. She now has shorter hair, and a different outfit that she wears, so it is a little bit different than the first game. The gameplay looks spot on like the first game, that crazy kind of, Devil May Cry combat where you're doing the timed button presses to get crazy combinations and shit to come out, and then charging up your super move to either massively punch or have a big monster come out and attack the enemy. There's huge scale boss fights again. Like, everything about the first game seems to completely be back in this game. But then they actually said, or I don't know if it's true, if they officially said or if they just teased at it, but basically they're saying there is going to be some kind of two-player mode in the game, whether it's the campaign, whether it's just a challenge mode. It said there's going to be two-player gameplay somewhere in the game. So you'll have some co-op element in the game as well. and the game looks good, but I feel bad because as I'm looking at these third-party games, I'm thinking, man, if they had just published to all the consoles, these games would have sold so much more than I think they're going to sell on the Wii U. Like, realistically, versus being on every console, how many units do you think that Bayonetta 2 is going to sell just on the Wii U? You know what I mean? So, I don't know about this. The next game that they announced was Wonderful 101, which is a game that is extremely weird. It's about these little, like, chibi-looking superheroes. They each have unique powers, and they team up, and they're all together so that they can fight enemies, and it looks like it's part strategy, part action, part RPG, maybe? I don't know. It's really hard to even categorize this game. It looks like one of those really quirky, weird games that doesn't look or play like anything else. But I'm really wondering if the game's going to appeal to Western audiences. It does seem to have a very heavy Japanese influence, and I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing when it comes out here. Worldwide, how will it do? I don't know. But it is mentioned that the game actually has 5-player co-op, full 5-player co-op, and that is actually coming out August 23rd. So, it's hard for me to even describe, but you have to watch the trailer for yourself if you want to know what the hell that game's about. Because even after watching the trailer, I was like, I don't even know what the fuck this is. Like, it was really weird, okay? Next was a game called X. Now, there's a lot of speculation about this game, and the reason that there's speculation is because this game was made by Monolith Soft. Now, if you're not familiar with that studio, Monolith Soft is the studio that actually made Xenogears, okay? In that Xeno series. So everyone's speculating maybe X stands for something, and it's going to be a canon part of that Xeno series of games. However, it's not a turn-based RPG like those games are. This game is actually looks like a futuristic sci-fi version of Monster Hunter. You're running around, you're fighting these giant monsters. So you can actually put on a jetpack to fly around to hunt these monsters. They also showed a mech suit that you can put on, which was interesting. So it seems like a take on a Monster Hunter series with a unique twist, that it's futuristic rather than medieval, per se. And it looked good. The graphics look amazing. So there's potential that this game could be really good. How it's going to do as a Wii U exclusive, I have absolutely no idea. This is another game that I'm kind of thinking, damn, if they had at least published across all platforms, maybe they would have had a better chance with this game. I don't know. But anyway, that game is actually announced also for 2014, so don't get your hopes up. That's not coming out for a long time, okay? So then there were four more announcements. Pokemon X and Y, which is the next Pokemon game, is going to finally come out October 12th. Whoopity-doopity, you know what I mean? Like, for me, Pokemon is Pokemon. Like, who cares? It's just like some little addictive game that people used to play when they were kids. But for a lot of people, I guess it's a big concern. Oh, the next Pokemon, I gotta catch them all. So that's coming out in October. If that's your cup of tea, I don't know. The next game was actually it wasn't necessarily an announcement of a new game. This one had already been announced. What this was is Zelda. If you remember, they're making a sequel to The Legend of Zelda: A Link for the Past, but it's going to be a Nintendo 3DS exclusive game. They had more info. They said we now have a real title for the game. The title of the game is The Legend of Zelda: The Link Between Two Worlds. So, again, hinting, if you remember, if anyone who's played Link to the Past, you know there's a light world and there's a dark world. So the question is, will this come into play? Is this game going to be about linking the two worlds? I don't know. It's all speculation. It's just a title, so we have no idea what it's referencing. But it's got a name now, and that's cool. So now we know that they're concretely working on it, and we'll have to see if there's more information about that as time passes. No release date for that one. They don't say anything about the release date, really. The last two things that they did in the Nintendo Direct press conference is they announced the new Art Academy. So if you don't know what that is, Art Academy is a very popular game for the Nintendo 3DS, where you actually, it basically teaches you to draw, per se. And the reason that I do this is because, let's be honest, do you really think it teaches you to really draw? No, it probably teaches you how to use these automatic tools to draw stuff on the 3DS, and I know that for a fact because my girlfriend actually owns the game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just, it is a little bit of a misleading premise. But anyway, the new Art Academy is announced, and the last announcement for the Nintendo Direct stream was that bad news, unfortunately, that the Wii U Party and Wii Fit U, my god, it's so hard to say the names of these fucking games now because they named the stupid thing Wii U. It's so dumb. So the Wii U Party and the Wii Fit U were both, you know, respectively installments of Mario Party and Wii Fit that were supposed to come out for the Wii U, and they never did. And the question is, well, where are these games? What happened? They've both been delayed until 2014, until further notice. So we're not going to see those games this year. And I guess for some people that may be disappointing, because initially we were told these are actually supposed to come out during the summer of 2013, and now they're being delayed, you know, over 6 months into next year, and we have no idea when they're really coming out. So that's it. That was the meat of the Nintendo Direct press conference. So, as you can see, everything that they discussed was a console exclusive. There's no, and I mean it, there's no games that are really coming out for the Wii U that are like any blockbuster titles that are cross-platform. All these publishers have now decided, screw the Wii U, it didn't sell enough, it's not enough of an investment for us to spend the time and the money to port our game to their console when no one bought their console. So all they're doing now, they're focusing on the console exclusives, the first-party titles. This right here is exactly what I said was going to happen at E3. This is why I said Nintendo didn't need to be at E3 whatsoever. Because guess what? None of these games are system sellers. I'm going to say that again. They're not. None of these games are system sellers. Tell me one game on this list that's an original concept, that's a fun idea that people are going to say, wow, I need to run out and buy a Wii U right now. No. What you've got are a series of sequels from their first-party series, which they know are sure moneymakers, and a couple long shots. So you've got Super Mario 3D World, Mario Kart 8, a remake of a Zelda game, the new Donkey Kong, the new Smash Brothers. So all 5 first-party titles are either remakes or just the next sequel in the line. It's not anything new or interesting or different. It's more of the same. The 3 games that they've got that are the console exclusives are kind of quirky. Is anyone going to run out there and buy a Wii U so that they can play Bayonetta 2? Again, probably not, especially because when you look at the games on the Wii U, how many other games that are like Bayonetta 2 are there on there? 0. So you're going to go buy it, play Bayonetta 2, and then realize you don't like any of the other games on the console because that's not your cup of tea. Now you have a paperweight. Same thing with this Wonderful 101. Really quirky game. Some people might like it. Is it going to sell consoles? I don't think so. Same thing with X. Now, X may be a unique situation if the game turns out to be great, because the Xenogears, Xenosaga, that whole Xeno story, that line of games has some really rabid fans who love that stuff. They eat it up, and they can't wait for more. So there's a very strong possibility that that could do really well. But are they all going to, again, buy a whole console just for that game? I don't feel that. If you can get the vibe that you're getting from Nintendo now is, we've given up. We realize that we fucked up. No one wants to make games for our console, so we're just going to dial it in with all of these, you know, next installments of our first-party franchises, and we're really not going out of the box to get any new games. So my Wii U has sat there in dust since December, or whatever the hell the last time it was that I played it, which was, I think, 2012. I have no plans to pick it up anytime soon. The first game on this list that's coming out is Wonderful 101 on August 23rd. I don't know if I even want to play that because the game looks so fucking weird, and there's a chance that Nintendo might just claim all the content that I upload of it and try to steal all my ad revenue from it. So, I'm going to probably wait and see. That's going to be my attitude. Wait and see what happens, because if that time comes and the only problem I've had is with one video ever with Nintendo, then maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll go ahead and I'll see if I can do, investigate these games and play them. I'll be honest, there are a few here. Like I said, that Super Mario 3D World sounds really good to me. Super Mario 3D Land was an outstanding game. I played it from start to finish as a completionist. I got every single coin in it. I got every single secret ending. I got the secret stage unlocked. I beat the secret stage. So I loved that game. I would love to experience the new one for the Wii U. I'm just hoping that Nintendo doesn't become a bunch of dicks and really start claiming everyone's ad revenue, as they've stated that they might do. So, overall, how do I grade this Nintendo Direct? I'm going to be completely honest. There's really doesn't look like there's much hope for the Wii U. They're done. There's no more third-party developers who are going to be willing to develop for these consoles, or for this console. And the reason I say that is, simply put, they're all probably working on the next-gen consoles now. They realize this is going to be it. You know, the 2 big ones are coming out. Everyone's going to want to play games on there. And the Wii U is literally a last-gen console. It really is. It doesn't have the hardware, the capabilities of these new consoles that are coming out. Excuse me. So, these third-party developers have given up. Nintendo now is completely in panic mode and relying only on their first-party and their already exclusive titles that they made arrangements for. I think that once this first batch of console exclusives that are third-party titles come out, if they flop, that's it. No company will want to make a game for Nintendo. So it's going to be only first-party games, and I don't know what Nintendo's going to do, because I don't think a console can support itself on first-party titles alone. It needs that third-party support, and I don't see the Wii U getting it at this point. So, really interesting to see what happens over the course of the next year, next E3, what Nintendo comes back and ends up saying about all these games that came out. Did they sell enough? What's going on? Because I don't know how they can continue to support the console if they keep doing how they're doing right now. So, the bottom line, the Nintendo conference was literally exactly what I thought it was going to be. Now, that's not a bad thing when it comes to some of these games. Like I said, you got new Mario Kart. Mario Kart's always good. The new Super Mario, and it's from the 3D franchise. That's going to be good. DK Tropical Freeze will probably be good. Smash Brothers will probably be good. And I'm actually, quite honestly, I am literally very much looking forward to Bayonetta 2. I'm kind of angry that they didn't really announce any kind of release date for it. But overall, they did exactly what I expected them to do. The 100%, that was what their strategy was come E3. I give the Nintendo press conference a 2.5 out of 5, an exact down the middle, because they played it so completely safe. Doesn't look like they're making any kinds of business partnerships with anybody else. Doesn't look like anyone else is even willing to talk to them. They're basically barely drifting afloat right now. They really need some of these games to come out so they can start making money, because no one's buying the Wii U right now. That's the bottom line. So, Nintendo's in dire straits. This Nintendo Direct announcement completely proved it, with the fact that it's only these console-exclusive first-party titles and a very small handful of others that they can even advertise. And that's the other thing, too. So how many games did they advertise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only, I'm going to repeat that, 9. There's only 9 games for the Wii U in like the next year. Seriously, like, I'm not joking. Like, this is it. This is what's coming out on Wii U. So if you bought a Wii U expecting to get a lot of use out of it, you better think twice, because there's just no games coming out for it. So you're boned. I'm boned. I bought it. I bought the fucking thing, and it's been sitting there. It's covered in dust, and it's worthless to me. So, unfortunately, that's pretty much it. That's the that's the in and out of it. So that was the Nintendo Direct press conference and my feelings on the subject. So, thanks a lot for joining me for that. I appreciate it, and there's going to be a lot more coverage of E3 coming up. So, stick around and stay tuned all this week, and there'll be more coming. Thanks.